Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in.
Awesome. Today we're looking at something pretty interesting. Well, at least I think so, and hopefully you will too. We're going to be talking about psychedelics.
Okay, psychedelics, a vast and fascinating world.
Totally. But we're focusing on one specific aspect, and that is solfeggio frequencies.
Solfeggio frequencies, interesting. So we're combining ancient tones with the psychedelic experience. What's the source saying about this?
Yeah, so we've got a few sources actually, and they all point towards something pretty wild. Using solfeggio frequencies during a psychedelic trip to, well, basically level up the experience.
Level up, how so?
The sources claim that listening to these frequencies, and we're talking about specific tones like 528 hertz or 396 hertz, can really amplify the therapeutic and spiritual benefits. Like imagine going deeper into those introspective states or processing trauma more effectively.
Hmm, I see. So it's not just about having a cool soundtrack during your trip, it's about actually influencing the experience itself.
Precisely. And that's what we're going to unpack today.
Sounds good to me. So let's start with the basics. What exactly are solfeggio frequencies? I mean, I've heard of them, but
Yeah, sure. So basically, they are these ancient musical scales, thought to date back to Gregorian chants and all that. Each frequency is believed to have a specific effect on our energy and consciousness.
okay, so each frequency has a unique purpose.
Exactly. For instance, 528 hertz, that one's often called the love frequency. It's associated with healing and transformation. Then you've got 396 hertz, which is said to help release fear and guilt.
So they kind of act like sonic tuning forks for different aspects of our being.
That's a great way to put it. And the idea is that by listening to them during a psychedelic experience, when your mind is already super open and receptive, you can really tap into their power.
I see. So it's like leveraging the heightened state of awareness induced by psychedelics to work with these frequencies on a deeper level. Fascinating.
Right. Now, let's talk about this whole idea of enhanced relaxation and meditation. The source specifically mentions that frequencies like 396 hertz, 528 hertz, and 741 hertz can help create a deeper state of relaxation, which, let's face it, can be pretty valuable during a psychedelic journey, especially, if things get a bit intense.
Oh, absolutely. Psychedelics can definitely take you on a roller coaster ride emotionally. Having some sonic support to navigate those choppy waters could be incredibly helpful.
Totally. Think about it. You're in the middle of this profound experience, maybe facing some deep-seated fears or anxieties, and suddenly this calming frequency washes over you. It's like having a sonic anchor to hold on to.
Like a sonic safety net.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this source gives specific examples, right? Like 396 hertz for releasing fear and guilt, and 528 hertz for cultivating that sense of inner peace. So it's not just random. There's a real intention behind each frequency.
That makes sense. It's like each frequency has its own unique mission in guiding the experience. But how about trauma processing? The source also mentions that, right? That's a pretty big claim.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is where things get really interesting. The source talks about frequencies like 417 hertz and 741 hertz being particularly potent for this purpose. Supposedly, they can help release those suppressed emotions and energy blockages that can sometimes be at the root of trauma.
Okay, so the idea is that these frequencies, combined with the psychedelic state, can help you access and process those deep-seated wounds.
Exactly. And here's how they explain it. Psychedelics, they basically open up the doors to your subconscious,
Hmm.
right? And these frequencies, they act like a spotlight, shining on those areas of emotional tension that you might not even be aware of normally.
I see. So it's not that the frequencies are directly healing the trauma, but they're helping bring it to the surface so it can be processed.
Precisely. It's like they create a sonic pathway for those trapped emotions to finally be released.
And what about the mechanism? How do these frequencies actually work on, say, a neurological level?
Well, that's where things get a bit speculative. The source mentions this idea of brainwave entrainment. It's like our brain waves naturally sync up with external rhythms, and some researchers believe that specific frequencies can induce certain states of consciousness, like deep relaxation or heightened focus. So maybe, just maybe, these solfeggio frequencies are doing something similar, helping to shift the brain into a state where trauma processing is more accessible.
It's a compelling theory, although I'd say more research is definitely needed to fully understand how it all works.
Absolutely. But hey, isn't that part of the excitement? We're venturing into uncharted territory here. Now, let's move on to something a little more, shall we say, esoteric.
Esoteric sounds intriguing.
Oh, it is. The source dives into the relationship between solfeggio frequencies and, wait for it, chakras.
Chakras. Okay, now we're getting into the mystical realm. For our listeners who might not be familiar with chakras, what are we talking about here?
Good point. So chakras, you can think of them as energy centers within the body, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like spinning wheels of energy that influence our well-being physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Okay, and each chakra is associated with specific aspects of ourselves.
Exactly. Like you've got the root chakra, which is all about grounding and stability.
Right.
Then there's the heart chakra, which is connected to love and compassion and so on.
And the source is saying that Solfeggio frequencies can influence these chakras.
You got it. They claim that each frequency is like attuned to a specific chakra. So, for example, 528 hertz, the love frequency, is linked to the heart chakra. And when you listen to it, it's supposed to help balance and harmonize that energy center.
So it's like sonic acupuncture for the soul. I like that. But how does this tie into the psychedelic experience?
Well, the idea is that psychedelics can sometimes bring up subconscious issues, right? And these issues, they can manifest as blockages or imbalances in our chakras. So by listening to these frequencies during a trip, you can potentially help clear those blockages and restore harmony to your energetic system.
Interesting. It's like using the frequencies to smooth out the energy wrinkles, so to speak.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance, that alignment within ourselves. And the source suggests that solfeggio frequencies can be a powerful tool for achieving that, especially when used in conjunction with psychedelics. But let's not forget the sensory aspect.
Ah, yes, the sensory symphony of psychedelics.
Exactly. We know that psychedelics can really amplify our senses, particularly sound. So imagine listening to these frequencies when your auditory perception is heightened, when every note, every vibration feels like it's reverberating through your entire being.
Wow, that must be quite an experience. The source mentions amplified visuals and feelings of interconnectedness, right?
Yeah, they talk about how these frequencies can create vivid visual effects, almost like synesthesia, where sounds and colors blend together. And there's this sense of oneness, of being connected to everything in the universe. It's like the music becomes a portal to a higher dimension.
It's fascinating how sound can have such a profound impact on our consciousness, especially in altered states.
Totally. Now, before we wrap up, we need to talk about integration. You know, that crucial phase after a psychedelic experience where you try to make sense of it all and incorporate those insights into your everyday life.
Right, integration. It's like the bridge
Mhm.
between the psychedelic realm and reality. And the source suggests that there's a specific solfeggio frequency that can aid in this process, 963 hertz.
Yeah, 963 hertz, often referred to as the frequency of the higher self.
Yeah.
Supposedly, it can help us connect with our intuition, gain clarity, and integrate the lessons learned during the trip.
So it's like the sonic glue that helps piece everything back together.
Exactly. It's about creating a sense of closure, of wholeness. So after you've been on this incredible journey exploring the depths of your subconscious and expanding your awareness, this frequency can help you ground those insights and bring them back into the real world and hopefully, create some lasting positive change.
That's a beautiful idea, using sound to bridge the gap between the extraordinary and the ordinary.
I know, right? It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. So there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into solfeggio frequencies and psychedelics. We've covered a lot of ground, from relaxation and trauma processing to chakra balancing and integration.
And while we've explored some fascinating theories and anecdotal evidence, it's important to remember that this is still a relatively new area of exploration, and more research is needed to fully understand the complexities of these interactions.
Absolutely. But that doesn't mean we can't be curious, right? So if this has sparked your interest, do your own research, listen to these frequencies, experiment, and see what you discover. Who knows, you might unlock a whole new dimension of healing and personal growth. And hey, if you do, let us know. We'd love to hear about your experiences.
We're always eager to learn more and continue the conversation.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep vibrating at your highest frequency.
And remember, the journey of self-discovery is a symphony waiting to be played.
Beautifully said. See you all next time.
Take care.